Hope you guys had a great Monday. Happy Tuesday. Let's go ahead and jump into this pre-market brief. We got a few things to get through today, but if you want to skip to some specific information that you are looking for, go ahead and check out the chapters above or below in the description. But let's go ahead and jump right into this. We typically start by looking at the crypto markets. We see that there are some in the green, but we have a heavy pull to the downside. But let's go ahead and take a look and see where the averages ended their day yesterday. We had the S&P ending heavy in the negative due to Trump's re-announcement of tariffs at negative 1.04%. The NASDAQ ending at negative 1.13%, and the Dow Jones ending heavily on the red, or heavily in the red, at negative 1.66%. So a heavy down pull in the market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pre-market and see where we're sitting on this early morning at around 5:54 in the morning. We are pushing in the green, but my prediction is that this push is not going to last. It's just going to be a false push and then a pull back to the downside. But let's look at global markets and see where they sit on the day, see if they give us any idea of what the day may bring. We see that the Korean markets once again pushing. This is why you diversify your portfolio to plus 2.11% to end their Tuesday. We had the Nikkei ending at plus 0.87%, so it's a good sign when Japanese markets are pushing in the green. And then the Taiwanese market surging to a plus 2.75% in their markets, which is phenomenal. Let's take a look at the European scene. They are pulling in the red. That's a more, I guess you say, correlated prediction of what the American markets are going to be doing on this lovely Tuesday morning. But we got the Stock 600, which is overall European markets, sitting at negative 0.10, breaking even. CAC, the French markets, breaking even, unchanged, and the DAX German markets sitting at negative 0.11%. So people not knowing what to do with the tariff situation and that uneasiness affecting the markets on the day. Let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P. Heading back over to the Webull platform, and we will look at that in a little bit more detail, even though we have an idea of what to expect on this chart. And this is starting with the daily time frame, and what we see is the continuation of that general slow downtrend. So we have another lower high. So this was our first high that happened earlier this year. We had a lower high here, another lower high here, and the most recent lower high on Friday when we had that surge, and then the pullback due to Trump announcing tariffs. So I believe that today we're going to continue that pullback to the downside. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame, see if there's anything that gives us a sign of what's to come in a little bit more detail, and nothing does. It just shows that this upper bound is heavily rejected, and we are pushing back to the downside, and we have lower highs and the continuation of that downtrend. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin very quickly, and then we'll head into some of the headlines that dropped yesterday. So we are going to, that's not Bitcoin, BTC, my boy. Boom. There it is, daily time frame, and we see that it broke beyond that lower bound, that middle lower bound, heading towards that $60,279 low that we hit a few weeks ago. But that was obviously due to Trump's tariffs. Let's look at the 30-minute time frame, see if there's anything that gives us an idea of what the day may bring. And it's just a series of lower highs. So we are expecting the market to continue its pull and maybe just bounce between this new lower bounds. The lower at 60,000 and the upper at around 64 or 65,000. So we'll probably bounce in between that range until we get some confirmation on the Clarity Act. But let's go ahead and jump into some of this major news that dropped on the day, and I'm gonna do my best to get through this succinctly. There isn't any economic data today. There may be some dropping later this week, and we will get back to that. But one of the major headlines on the day is that ASP Isotopes announces Quantum Leap Energy, which is their subsidiary, and NASA advanced strategic collaboration aimed at the production of HALEU nuclear fuel. You know how important the nuclear supply chain is for the US in this big energy boom. So this is key in creating a reliable supply chain for American and international nuclear fuel and the minerals necessary. So this is a solid move for ASPI. It is a penny stock that I picked up a few years ago, I believe in 2024, and it's hovering around that penny stock arena right now. It's following the market. Daily time frame is in a downtrend generally, but with all the moves and I would say the slimness of the ability for companies to enrich uranium, which is one of its areas of specialty, this company is prime for growth, even though it's behind I guess you could say a cloud of perception right now. But we will see. Every investment, especially penny stocks, is a gamble. But if you don't take the risk, where's the fun in that? We're not living boring over here, dog. But other than that, next up on the list is AST SpaceMobile. And if you don't know, they do have a launch of a Bluebird 7 satellite coming up, I believe before the end of February. They should be showing it live, but its charts are phenomenal. Look at this monthly time frame. See that beautiful curve? But they just secured a new government contract with the U.S. Space Development Agency for Halo Europa program. And basically with this $30 million contract, they will be providing satellite communications that's better than typical satellite communications for the U.S. government to show the ability of commercial hardware, software programs, and companies to be integrated into the military complex as far as the U.S. government is concerned. So that is a big deal. Coming out of this contract is going to be key because it may lead to a secondary contract that is going to be long-term for those communications. And one thing I wanted to note about AST SpaceMobile, it is the direct competitor of SpaceX. And the one reason, SpaceX, I believe. Yeah, SpaceX and Starlink, Elon Starlink. And the one thing about that is sometimes Elon's personality, his ways, and the movements that he makes in the political arena are adverse in its effects on his business. So having a company, investing in a company outside of that arena, even though he dominates that space in more ways than one, but having something outside of that doesn't have any political connections or any type of I guess you could say polarization. It gives this company, AST SpaceMobile, a prime opportunity to take advantage of a lot of different contracts with not just the U.S. government, but international governments as well. But let's go ahead and continue through our headlines. We got the Lithium Americas, which is one of the huge investments that the U.S. made this year. Was it this year or last year? I believe it was the end of last year, to secure critical minerals. I believe their ticker is LAC. Yeah, LAC. But they had a little surge. They have a bit of a stair step when it comes to their monthly time frame. Solid move, big jump after the U.S. Bought into this stock. We're going to see if the gamble is going to be a major move. It is officially a penny stock at $4.57, and fractional shares are available with it. So anybody can really get into this for less than $1, less than $5. But one thing to note about this company and its headline, they are developing a site right now to secure the lithium supply chain for the Americas. And they were just providing an update on that progress, providing employment, providing deadlines, saying that at least by 2027, they should have everything mechanical on this site complete. But other than that, I believe there's two more major pieces of information that I wanted to drop on you guys today regarding JP Morgan. Now, recently I did invest into the bank JP Morgan, and today or yesterday they had a conference regarding the state of the business the state of finance and the economy and everything. And a lot that was dropped was in line with what a lot of economists, a lot of finance people are saying in regards to the economy. They say that it's generally strong. The only sore spot in this economy is obviously the labor. And those are the numbers and the economic data that most people are concentrating on. But if you are looking to invest into JP Morgan, it is a solid company to invest in. There's something that I was trying to remember about Lithium Americas. Oh, one thing I want to note about stocks like Lithium Americas before I continue with JP Morgan. Lithium Americas, AST SpaceMobile, a lot of these, I guess you could say, smaller mid-cap stocks, it's an opportunity like Google and Amazon. But what you want to do is take a small position in it. You don't put a whole bunch into this one stock. You can if you have the room for it, but take a small position, and in each milestone that they reach or each update, increase that position and grow it from there. It's like a relationship. You want to build trust. So boom, they hit a milestone, they get some progress, they start seeing more profits, they get a new connection, a new network connection. Boom, reward them with a few more of your funds so that they can grow that exponentially. But take your time in it. But some of the things that JP Morgan mentioned, one was that the economy is generally strong. The only thing that worries them is labor, and it's a great market for mergers and acquisitions, which is solid for especially big companies like JP Morgan. But just like Comfort Systems USA, as I mentioned in the previous video, they are very strategic when it comes to mergers and acquisitions. Other than that, they are highly invested in AI and have been for the last 10 years. They have a robust system, a robust foundation regarding AI implementation. And one thing to note that they said about AI is that they don't view it as a piece of technology that's going to eliminate jobs, but it's a tool for their advisors to utilize to make their jobs more efficient. So they're not firing people because of AI. It may limit how many they hire in the future, yes, but to a more, it's more used to a degree of a tool rather than a human being replacement. One other major thing to note, and I typically mention this, and I love hearing this from people in the finance industry regarding the K-shaped economy. They say that this is just the same economy that was pre-pandemic. There's nothing majorly different about the top side or the bottom side of the K, and that all these things or all this hype regarding the K-shaped economy is just hype. It's just the media trying to find something to latch on to create an emotional reaction, to draw attention and things along those lines. Stay out of the riffraff. One major thing, so Jaime Dimon did come onto this business update and he discussed how the Federal Reserve needs major reform. So he is in agreement with some of the things that the new nominated Fed rate chair, Rorsch, I think his name, Rorsch. I don't know. I don't remember his name, but he's in agreement with some of the new reforms that nominated Fed rate chair wants to implement into the Federal Reserve going forward. So that's a major sign of confidence as far as the pick of the Trump administration, even though, other things may be questionable. Other than that, there was a conference regarding critical minerals that was had yesterday, and one of the main companies that spoke was Cameco, a nuclear company. And here we are back at nuclear. One of the major things that the COO of Cameco noted was that demand is increasing. But the unique thing about uranium, which is used for nuclear facilities, is the fact that it's not reproducible. It's irreplaceable. There's nothing that can substitute uranium. And because of that, the demand for it is skyrocketing. Not only that, the companies and the entities that hold on or are utilizing uranium right now for their nuclear facilities have not bought long-term contracts to replace their current supply to keep those facilities running, which is going to be not a headwind, but a tailwind to demand, a tailwind to price. But there was a lot of key things mentioned in this conference regarding uranium, its production, mining it, and not getting ahead of the demand curve, because it's not something uranium is not like a typical commodity that's bought on a consistent basis, on a yearly basis. It's bought over, it's called a long lead item. So it's bought for contracts of 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years. So because of that, it's not, you don't want to overproduce, because then you may be holding on, depending on demand, to a large supply for years on end, where it wastes away and then it becomes unusable and you don't sell it, and that's loss in business, loss in profit, just a lot of things along those lines. But basically, in summary, uranium, nuclear is here, demand is high. The U.S. has a contract with them that they're working out the firm details of for about 8 to 10 nuclear reactors by 2030 under construction. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Hopefully these things get nailed down this year, because if that happens, if those contracts get nailed down, then we can expect companies like Cameco, which I believe the U.S. has directly invested in, and ASPI, which we just mentioned, where nuclear enrichment is very slim to none internationally on this globe. We can expect them to surge. Other than that, not too much other news besides Nvidia partnering with companies like Palo Alto Networks, Siemens, and Zake Security to help in AI-powered cybersecurity. But we always know that Nvidia is up to something. Uber unveiling autonomous solutions to accelerate autonomous mobility and delivery worldwide, providing this software to companies. Let's look at their stock very quickly as we round up this lovely day. And their stock is doing solid, but autonomous vehicles are coming, which is why we are invested in companies like Kodiak AI. And what is interesting, what piqued my interest yesterday, was there is a company, an autonomous vehicle company, that actually, I posted on my Facebook, but they actually, this is an ugly chart by Kodiak anyway, by the way. This is another one of those Hail Marys in the portfolio. Now, I understand I do have Hail Marys in my portfolio, and I do have risk-taking stocks in my portfolio, but there's also solid stocks that are long-term performers that are holding up the other portion of my portfolio in a major way. So it's good to have balance, good to have diversity, also good to have a little fun. You know, this is new technology. I love to see it. Technology, innovation. I'm a nerd like that. But autonomy, is that a word? I don't know. But another company that actually posted on YouTube a live stream of them, their driverless truck, is Aurora. And I believe Kathy Woods invested a portion of her major funds in it when she invested in Kodiak AI too. So this might be something that I might add to the portfolio. This is a much better chart than Kodiak AI. But Kodiak AI did just get that military contract. So solid moves for them, and we'll be watching Aurora. We may add them to the portfolio. Financials are more than likely not going to be that good, seeing that they IPO'd in 2021 and began the same market recovery as most companies in 2023. But yeah, something to maybe take a chance on if you're into autonomous vehicles. I believe I have about 2 or 3 different types of autonomous stocks in my portfolio. But guys, other than that, I don't have too much else for you. Hopefully that wasn't too much on this lovely Tuesday morning. We do have a lot of earnings coming up tomorrow. I believe Nvidia, TJ Maxx, a lot of earnings to cover, a lot of information. But it's going to give us detail on the market. That's why we love earnings season, man. It gives you the depth, the understanding, and the numbers that's going to back up where the market is going and where it's not. So, yeah, don't forget to start the future. Invest for your future. You want to be able to fire your boss in the next 1 to 5 years. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. If there's ever a stock or an ETF or anything or some crypto that you would like to invest in or you're interested in and you want me to analyze specifically with direct chart analysis, I'll do all the drawings on here and everything. Excuse me, feel free to comment it below and I'll give you my perspective on it as far as not just the charts, but the fundamentals and what I think about the numbers and the management, because you have to know all these things if you're looking long term to invest. This information is for the 1%. Most people will skip past all this information and treat the stock market as a gamble, miss out on opportunity. 5-10 years later, be like, man, I wish I would have put my money there. Just like with Amazon and Google. So become a part of the 1%. Don't forget to start the future, and you guys have a great Tuesday. Peace.